Welcome to Talking Models, a monthly fireside chat where I sit here in front of my wonderful stash of models and I talk about our great hobby. If you're new to my channel, hello there, my name's Chris. Remember, in all my videos you'll find all the links that I talk about or things I reference to. They're in the description below, so you can just find them there, or you can find me on Patreon or Facebook if you're into that social media sort of thing. Now, I'm primarily an aircraft modeler. Well, I do dabble in other things, but one of my passions is modelling aircraft in flight. And if you know me around the Facebook circles and all the forums and that, I talk about it, all the time. Too much, they say. There goes Becker again about his in-flight stuff. Anyway, when I hear one of the greatest people in our hobby talk about in-flight models, my ears prick up. And that's what happened just a little while ago on the Sprue Cutters Union podcast when Master Modeller Paul Budzik, of all people, said we should be doing all aircraft models in flight. If you're unfamiliar with he is the Master Modeller Paul Budzik. Go check him out. His work is all over the internet, in the old magazines as well. He's got his own modelling channel. Again, I'll put a link in the description. Go over there, subscribe, watch it. This is the sort of man who he will cut a model in half because there's a minor width inaccuracy. He'll make a new tool from scratch to make one part for one particular model, and then that tool's never used again. So this man is the highest, craftsman in terms of precision, in terms of accuracy and fidelity. They really don't come any better than that. And not only that, he's a humble bloke. He's been in the modelling hobby for over half a century, I believe. And he's got some wise words to say. So when he started talking about aircraft models, I got really, really interested. So what did Paul say? Well, on the interview, and it's a very long interview, I'll leave the timestamp to where he says it, but I reckon you should listen to the whole interview. It goes for a few hours. He said that kit manufacturers of today should go back to, the 1960s, 70s, what have you, and reintroduce an old concept but using modern design tools and engineering, modern engineering. He reckons that we've gone too far in terms of the complexity of aircraft scale models in particular, and that may be hurting the chances of returning and new modelers, advancing forward into the hobby, because some of the models that are coming out these days, and I'll show you, I've got a few, I'm just pointing off camera here, I'll show you a few later. They're getting really, really complex. The parts count is going through the roof. So he's got a great idea. Let's just go into it a bit more. Paul's idea is that all new model aircraft kits should come out and be aimed directly at the beginner or returning modeler. And as such, it should be designed that it can be assembled, literally assembled, not just have to deal with glue for hours on end and cutting off 1,000 parts and what have you. Assembled, painted quite easily, and hung from the ceiling or put on an in-flight aircraft stand, so you've got it there on the shelf. Because whenever anybody asks us, what do you do for a hobby? I make aircraft models. Well, that's what they think of, don't they, the public? And they're quite right. That's what it used to be. It used to be you'd make a model, you'd put it on a little stand, and you put it in the cabinet or you hang it from the ceiling. Now, he's not suggesting that it all goes back to that, but that should be the new starting point. The reason it should be in flight is because Paul's got a really good idea here. He says that all the panels, everything, the cowlings, the engine cowlings, the access hatches, the cockpit doors, the canopies, everything should be closed up. Okay, so make it as simple as possible for that model to be actually completed. And that means, having it in flight, because if the landing gear is closed up, that's easier to do than having to put on fiddly landing gear. Combined with a sort of a Tamiya, level of engineering, or using the Bandai method of actually not requiring any glue, you just have pressure points where the panels snap together and make the panel line. This really gives the new or returning modeler, a very basic set of skills to start with, but he's got a greater chance of finishing that first model and then going on for the second and third. Now, all those advanced modelers out there, you're all saying to me, Chris, whoa, hold the door, what are you talking about here? You want all our aircraft models to be these simple sort of, constructions, and I don't want it in flight, I want to pose it on the ground. And yeah, that's fair enough, and Paul has got a second fantastic idea. His idea is that when you engineer that basic kit, is you leave a faint outline on the inside of the part where the cockpit access panel is, or the engine cowling, or what have you, and then you add a separate sprue. So what you do is you've got the basic kit, okay, then you've got the parts, the wings, the fuselage pieces, the engine cowlings, what have you, and a separate sprue with those additional parts on there. So if you're a good modeler, you should be able to cut out a piece, you know, make it flush with a file, what have you. These are fairly basic but sort of intermediate skills, I should say, which we all should be able to do by now. And put those extra parts in there if you want to, instead of going the route that a lot of companies have recently, and I'll talk about them in a minute, including Kitty Hawk, which unfortunately went the way of the dodo, where every part's open and then you have to put the piece in, and most of the time it doesn't fit. Whereas if the piece was flush already, you know, it's up to you if you want to have all the hatches open or just one or two, or you want all engines exposed for, say, a multi-engine bomber, or just one or two. It's a really good idea. And what Paul says from a financial point of view, what the kit manufacturers can do is they don't have to put that extra sprue in the first kit. They could just make a basic bare bones beginner grade kit and then have the exact same sprues but add that next one with all the extra parts, and then maybe have a next grade up of extra resin pieces, photo etch, maybe some 3D decals and so forth. So make an advanced grade kit. So the manufacturer only has to invest in the tooling on one kit, but they get to sell multiple different types of that one subject. But you might also be saying, whoa, hey, hang on. We live in a golden age of modelling. What's this? This is a silly idea. I mean, the kit manufacturers are doing great. They keep coming out with all these brand new kits, you know, 1/32 scale, all the scales really, even down to the 1/72 scales. We're getting some fantastic kits. I'm really excited about the new Flyhawk SBD that's coming out. And, you know, it's just a great time to be an aircraft modeler. There's so many options available, so many subjects covered, so many paints and weathering products available, and we're able to share all our experiences and learn from each other. You know, why do we need to go in this new direction? Now, I'm not advocating we go back to Revell Airfix of the 1970s. Even though, you know, some of us enjoyed those sort of kits, but what we're really thinking about here is let's have the quality of now, but with the buildability and the enjoyment of back then. And I would sort of equate it to what they do in the Gundam world, and in fact that's where the competitors are going to be. You've got all these young guys who are building Gundam models that from the beginner grades, and it's interesting how they use a grading system if you look into it. You know, it's quite easy to assemble. It can be done in a weekend or so, and you get a completed model, and there it is. You can put it on the shelf and go get a second one, and then you might decide, oh, I might upgrade and get a high grade Gundam model. This sort of model, pardon the pun, may actually work. But the problem is there's a building level of complexity coming out in all kits, and it's not just the large scales, 1/72 as well, but I will start with the large scales. My good friend Bill lent me this kit. Is that upside down, Miss Jane? It is indeed. Okay, so that's the 1/32 scale P40B from Great Wall Hobby. Now this kit has pretty much every option imaginable in the kit, and you can only buy it like this, and it's 200 plus Australian dollars, I believe. It's got a full interior, it's got a complete engine, it's got in-flight options, you can do wheels up or wheels down, it's got a resin pilot, it's got photo etch, it's just got it all. If you want me to do a full review on the bench, I can. Bill's given me this for a little while to have a look at, but I can't build it. Oh, what a shame. It does look fantastic, but man, that will take forever to do. It really will. So if you want me to do a review, leave a comment below. I might do a review later on. Now, it's just not the 1/32 scale kits that are coming out with this sort of complexity. 1/48 scale. 1/48 scale. Even Tamiya are going the complex route where the usual, you know, single engine World War II fighter plane, now the kits are getting super complex with engines and multiple parts, and yeah, it all fits together well, but some of these kits can be daunting. And I remember I did a video a little while ago about how I think returning modelers, new modelers, should skip the new Tamiya kits because I just think they're too complex. Here's another one I'll have a look at in a minute. Tamiya's P38. I mean, this is literally the best 1/48 scale prop, single or double engine prop, whatever you want to call, on the market, and it's a big kit and it's completely full. It doesn't even have engines, but it's that complex and that well detailed, and the price point is getting, I think this is over $100 now in Australia. They're getting really, really detailed. I mean, would you recommend this one to a first or a second or third aircraft model for someone? No, you wouldn't. It's just too much. Even though people say, oh, they're shake and bake, they're not. You have to be careful. You have to really go through what you're doing. I'll just show you one more kit and we'll move on. 1/72 scale F-14 Tomcat, another one from Great Wall Hobby. Look at the size of this box. It is completely full. It's just chockers full of, you can't see that, can you? Okay, it's a full, again, if you want me to do a review on this one, I will gladly do a review. It's a beautiful kit, and I've got all the 1/72 scale Tomcats so we can compare them all. But that thing's got every option. It's got all the different flight services. It's got all the different weapons. It's got all the only thing it doesn't have is full engines, but it's got nozzles and, oh man, it's got everything. But the price point on that one, it's getting upwards of $100. Is this really where we want the hobby to go? To, you know, to only make these things? Are these the only new tool stuff that's out there? Because that's what the manufacturers believe that's what we want. Now there has been a swing back to what I would call simple complexity, I guess you could say. And that is, there are some manufacturers who have realised, hey, maybe we don't need to have 1,000 parts in our aircraft kits. And one of them is a new one that's just come on the scene. It's staffed mainly by all the ex-Wingnut Wing guys. Kotari from New Zealand, and all my New Zealand viewers, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please don't hesitate to tell me I've got it wrong. You know, stupid Aussie, you don't know how to say our special words. Anyway, it's not out yet. It's, would you believe it's a 132 scale Mark 1 Spitfire. It's the first new tool in 50 years of a Mark 1. You know, the Spitfire Battle of Britain, and nobody's made one in 50 years in 132nd scale. Now they could have come out with a blockbuster. They could have come out with something with, you know, 600 parts and everything under the sun, and a full Merlin early engine, and full cannons, not cannons, what are they, 303, you know, 8 machine guns in the wings. They could have done all that. They haven't. They've actually built something that, if you look at the CAD shots, I'll try to put them up if I can, this thing looks like a Bandai kit. It looks amazing. I mean, it's got all the oil canning stress skin, I don't know how, you know, what you call that, but stressed, you know, the texture, the external textures and details look fantastic, you know, raised rivets where appropriate and recessed. It just looks great, but the interesting thing is there's no engine. There's no open panels at all. There looks like there's no seam lines because the way that they've engineered the spine behind the cockpit just sort of slots in there on the panel line. So it looks like this could be a relatively easy kit to get finished, and given that it's ex-Wingnut Wings and it'll have that expectation of quality and engineering and fit and beautiful instructions and illustrations, I mean, these guys are masters, they're the top of the game. I think this could be a winner, and I think this could steer us aircraft modelers back to, you know, what really we enjoy in the hobby, and that's to open a kit and go, oh, I can build this, and 2 weeks later, boom, we're a weekend, full weekend, head down, it's done. And doesn't that really maximise your enjoyment of the hobby? That's what we're all about, aren't we? So I'm really looking forward to that kit, and I hope, even though it's not in flight options available, well, that's not that hard to modify on a Spitfire, and getting a resin pilot, it's not that hard. Maybe they could do that as a separate. I've spoken to one of the chaps there, and maybe they can do Paul Budzik idea of having a separate sprue for Becca, you know, with the wheels up and a pilot. Maybe they could do that. Let's see. But yeah, I'm definitely getting a few of those. That's going to be like, that's what I want. I don't know what you guys want. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you think. Is this a good idea? I mean, is Paul Budzik on the right trend here? Am I speaking out wrongly about this, or what? Tell me what you think. So all this talking about in-flight aircraft models leads me into something I've been brewing on for a while, and that's, you know, I want to put my money where my mouth is, or is that how the phrase goes, or put the rod where up the, you know, the rod up the bum, as they say, for because that's how you pose an aircraft. You've got to put a rod up there somewhere to keep it in the air. I really want to do a series of videos on how I approach aircraft modelling in flight, and it's not as simple as, you know, literally putting a rod up the bum, even though that's the option that we got. But I'm talking about other stuff, because you've got to work out how do you pose your flight surfaces correctly, you know, when you're banking or turning or what have you. How do you spin the prop? How do you make jet exhaust effects? How do you paint pilots and crew and so forth? How do you close the wheel well? Something that I'm working on right now. It's got 11 doors. You'll see it soon. The video should be up soon. It's got 11 wheel well doors that have to be closed up because they're not engineered. All kits these days don't come with that option, so I've had to basically do it all myself. Would you be interested in that sort of series of videos? I'd love to hear what you think about that, because I really want to do it. So even if only 1 or 2 of you guys out there want to see it, I'm going to do it. So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this segment. I hope to do this on a monthly basis, just sit in front of the camera here, have a quiet chat with you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there are any topics you've got in mind. I've got a few that I want to talk about. next time. So anyway, until then, enjoy yourselves, enjoy our hobby. It's fantastic. Like I said, we're in a golden age, so really enjoy it. And yeah, until next time, happy modelling. And as always, Penny says, thanks for watching.